Hey everyone, Buzz Berline with Kingfisher Kayak Adventures, Team Nucanoe, and Beeline Fishing. I'm in my garage right now and I'm doing some wiring for my Nucanoe Unlimited. I'll be using this as my tournament vessel and we'll also use it on my guide trips. And I'm hooking up some lights and hooking up a wiring for my trolling motor. And I thought, well, I could do a quick demo on how I crimp little round connectors onto wiring so it looks something like that. So a little heat shrink and crimpers, and I'll just show you how I do it. And hopefully this provides a little value for you if you haven't done this before or you need to know what some of the tools that I use. Of course, it's not the only way to do it. There's many different ways to do it, but I think this will help. And of course, if it does provide value, please hit the notification buttons and subscribe so we can keep doing these videos in the future. So let's show you how we're gonna do it. Okay, so I'm back here at the back of the Unlimited, and you don't have to pull the wires. You can do all this before, but I've pulled them through, I've snaked them through the Kayak, and eventually they're gonna come out of here. It's just easier for me to work on it right here. And some tools you're gonna need is obviously the lugs. Now these lugs are for 6-gauge wire, even though I'm using 8-gauge. It seems to be that those work fine. And that's a 1/4-inch hole. And I don't have a way to, I don't have a special tool that pulls off the coating to expose the wires. So I just carefully use a razor blade and some pliers just in case. The other thing you're gonna need is some heat shrink. Make sure you get that size appropriately. This is for 12 to 4 gauge, so I'm in good shape there. And a tool that I have found that is really effective is this hydraulic wire crimping tool that I got from Harbor Freight. It's not too expensive, but it has different crimping dies in it for 0 through 14. And it is so much easier than using other ways, in my opinion. So we'll show you how to do that. And then of course, a heat gun also from Harbor Freight in order to warm up the heat shrinks to make everything waterproof. So seems like that's all the tools I'll use, and we'll go through it here. Okay, so I'm just doing this on my garage floor. So hopefully the video comes out okay. But first thing I'm gonna do is cut back about, I don't know, looks like 1 centimeter or so of the rubberized coating around the outside. And I'll do that either with the tool, but in my case, I don't have one, so I will just carefully slice the coating around the outside with a razor blade. Being careful not to dig in too deep. Just take your time till you start to feel some of the wiring. You don't want to cut that, or you want to try to limit that as much as you can. Okay, so once that's done, shouldn't need the razor blade anymore. But I have a heat shrink I just got from one of the local home repair or Home Depot, Lowe's, home improvement stores. This is 3 inches in length. I don't think that is necessary because you know, you're not going to need all that. So I usually just cut this in half, and then I put it on the wiring before I get started, just so I don't forget it later. Okay, so I wanted to briefly show you this crimping tool I got from Harbor Freight. It's very convenient, you know, for garage applications here for a little bit thicker wire. It's got multiple dies in it that are magnetized, so chances of me losing them still pretty high, but at least it's reduced a little bit with that. So it all fits in there nice. And I've already put in the 8 gauge wire die. They slip in there very easy. Okay, no problems there. And the key thing is just aligning the lug into the die. That takes a little time and some experience. You know, you got to do it a few times. So, but point is, you just turn it on and you squeeze the hydraulic crimping tool, and it starts to come together, and then you can release it as well. But what I try to do is sneak this lug in there and see if I can get it to hold in a good aligned place, as not as close to the edge as possible, but closer to the opening than to the lug itself, to the other part. And then it gives me more flexibility trying to hold the wire in there. So let me try to align it up, and then I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, I got that pretty well lined up where I want. You just have to take your time, and you know, if it's not right, just turn it off, open it up, and keep trying it. But that's about where I like to have it, and it's in there pretty tight. Not so much that it's squeezing down so I can't put the wiring in there, but just enough that it's holding it so it doesn't come loose. And then I'm going to stick the wire carefully in there. Hopefully you won't have other strands that stick out, but you know, just make sure it's nice and tight. Do your best to do that. And then I'll turn it this way, and I usually try to hold it on my leg here. Oh, see, some strands came out. You want to try to get them all in there. Okay. And then use the hydraulic press, holding it in. I just use the floor and go straight down. I know it's not perfect. I could be using a vise, but this is, hey, on the garage floor. This is hopefully to show you that anybody could do this. I'm sure there's other ways or better ways for other people, but this is just how I do it. Okay, starting to get pretty tight, so I put a little more pressure on it. Don't want to bend the lug too badly, but I want to make sure it's tight. Okay, so that seems like it's in there pretty good. I can't really push it down without much more effort, so I don't want to bend everything. So I should have that on there. That's what it looks like when it's tight. don't think I can really do it anymore. Yeah, so just open this up. And give it a tug. Make sure it's on there. Pretty solid. So I think that's a pretty good fit. I'll put the heat tape over it. Protect it, make it waterproof. And then hit it with the heat gun. And then got a good solid connection. So that's how I do it. All right, that's it from Buzz's Garage here at Kingfisher Kayak Adventures. As you can see, we had a pretty good fit here, and I think it's going to work out great. I also have another video coming out that is showing you how I rigged up my trolling motor plugs with these. So I'll put that in the description. And if this provided a lot of value for you, you liked it, please don't forget to subscribe to Kingfisher Kayak Adventures and hit that notification button if you want to know when the next video comes out. So thanks a lot, and we'll see you on the water.